What's going on? AJ here, and I want to let you know real quick before we start the show today that STGeek is now officially available on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play for your streaming and downloading pleasure. Thanks so much for supporting our dumbasses for 10 episodes now. We can't wait to show you what's in store for the future, and if you happen to be affiliated with a company that would like to sponsor us, feel free to contact us at stgeekpod@gmail.com. Anyway, let's get the podcast rolling for STGeek Podcast episode 10. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the STGeek Podcast with myself, AJ, and with me are my co-hosts,
Peter,
Joan.
And today we're going to be talking about a lot of news that happened throughout the week. We have a pretty good amount, actually, considering that we're not going to be reviewing a full movie in particular. We do have a couple trailers we're going to get into. We're going to talk about Avengers 4 Endgame in a little while, but before we get into that, again, we do have some news we want to talk about. John, you mentioned something about Daredevil recently.
Oh, yeah, so Charlie Cox himself, the Daredevil man.
the Daredevil.
The Daredevil man.
New official title.
It seemed he was interviewed, and it seems like he wasn't really aware that they were going to cancel Daredevil, which is kind of crazy because everything else got canceled before him, except for Jessica Jones.
He was probably having just learned that, he was probably under the impression that maybe if it were to get canceled, he would be in the loop in some way, and so since he wasn't, he was just like, I think I'm fine.
And and
boy, was he wrong.
And now we know that Disney kind of said that Daredevil's still going to live on.
That's what they've been saying with all of these cancellations.
Yeah, so Charlie Cox says he doesn't even know if he's going to get another chance to play Matt Murdock. So it's kind of crazy to think that even if he does come back, they might just cast somebody else, which is crazy because I actually like this guy. I thought he was great.
I've heard a lot of people do like him.
Yeah.
So as I've referenced in the past, the Netflix MCU TV shows don't really exist in the movie continuity. They're hardly referenced, if at all. There's only one moment
in Daredevil, like the very first episode, they show like the Avengers. The first Avengers, the outcome.
Well, I mean the other way around. Like the show references the movies, or at least they used to. In the more recent seasons, they don't really do that too much. But in the TV show or the movie, they don't really reference anything that happens in the TV shows.
Okay.
With the one link between the two, or it's not even between the two. It's more so the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the only TV show that actually seems to have a back and forth, a tie-in with the
actual
with
cinematic
the movies.
universe.
Yes, and so there's actually a bit of a crossover in Luke Cage. They find a way to hurt him, to use bullets that work against him. It's like a little bullet that drills into your skin and then explodes.
Jeez.
And then in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's one moment where they have a bullet just like that. And that's the only real tie-in from the shows to the cinematic universe that I'm aware of anyway. I'm probably wrong. At PG Chava. Let me know.
Send it right to him,
yeah. So that being the case, there being very loose ties between the Netflix shows and the cinematic universe, it wouldn't surprise me if they just rebooted the whole thing and brought them into the MCU proper. Seeing as how or they could be doing, they've denied it to no end, but they could be bringing them into Disney Plus. Maybe not the same characters, maybe a rebooted version that's again more tied to the MCU proper.
Sure. Well, I did read something on Twitter a couple of hours ago saying, and it's known that after this Avengers movie, they're gonna bring in a whole new bunch of superheroes. So maybe that's the plan. Actually putting them in, doing it right.
I could see rebooting happening. It almost seems like a waste of effort because, I mean, they already have an established universe for Daredevil right now, along with other Netflix Marvel series that are currently on there. But then again, these aren't very family-friendly shows, though, are they? At least with Luke Cage, Daredevil, stuff like that. Jessica Jones, maybe slightly so. Would you say?
That's true. You know what? I never thought about
so
that.
So to think about like the language and the
violence is pretty bad. Yeah, but it's so good.
It's really good.
I bet it's super entertaining. It's just that I wonder if Disney is willing to keep that on their platform or if they're going to soften things up a little bit. I think that definitely a streaming service, it's a good way to draw people in because they need to be able to, I guess, sell the idea of people signing up for this, which of course they're going to make a lot of money off it regardless. But still, I wonder if they're going to try to keep an edge with a strong violence and language on there. But but I can't see Disney allowing that, considering that if kids have access to this application, if they're really gonna, let that be a thing. I don't know. That's my only curiosity.
I can see them
it.
dumbing down the violence, making it a bit more PG-13 if the plan is to bring it into the mainstream MCU.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like they're missing a different demographic entirely.
A mature demographic, you could say.
Yeah.
I think that is a shame that they would do that. I mean, again, nothing's confirmed or guaranteed, but it just seems like a strong possibility to me. I hope it isn't the case because, like you said, Peter, there's a strong demographic that they are going to be losing out on potentially by not having just a little more adult themes going on.
And it's proven that adult themes work. Look at Old Man Logan and Deadpool.
Exactly so. They could sell movie tickets to adults as well.
Yeah.
R-rated Marvel movies have been really great of late. At least, select few that Sony have done.
Yeah, but those aren't legit MCU, Marvel, Disney movies.
Yes.
Are they ever going to do it?
We'll see.
When are they going to break that formula? That's what I'm waiting for, if they ever do it.
I feel like it could be in the near future. I'm hoping so anyway.
Hopefully.
That reminds me, I can't believe we haven't talked about this, but the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2, the Once Upon a Deadpool,
is that out already?
I think it comes out in like a week or two.
Yeah.
Dang,
we'll probably, I don't know, maybe. We got when does it come out?
It's coming out on Christmas, like Christmas the week of, I believe.
Another one? So there's Bumblebee, Aquaman, and Jesus.
I mean,
Christ.
I'm sure they're not going to make
Christ,
that. I don't think it's going to top the box office, obviously, but yeah, I mean, they have nothing to lose, but they're just going to make a couple extra $1,000,000.
The movie's
probably.
already done.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're just adding little bits and pieces there
to make it more fun.
So any bit of money they make is just a plus to them.
Exactly.
It looks like so I wasn't really interested in this when it was announced, but after the trailer,
it's really good. Right?
It looks pretty good. It looks funny. So I may actually end up seeing it.
Yeah, I'm down. I watched Ryan Reynolds talk about the making of the movie and how they added certain things, and he seemed pretty enthusiastic about it. Obviously, he has a product to sell, but it still seems like a pretty fun time regardless. I don't see why we shouldn't see it. You guys okay to move on though a little bit?
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Or actually, I do have
Please,
one more thing
go
to
ahead.
add to that. That may hint further into maybe them bringing it into the MCU proper. Cool. But
Peter looked me right in the eyes when he said that. I got a little uncomfortable.
The rumor is that Marvel themselves are the ones that wanted Daredevil to be canceled. It's still in rumor territory right now, but they're the ones that were, because I believe that Daredevil was Netflix's 4th most popular show.
Wow.
As it was revealed this past week. And so Marvel were the ones that axed it. Marvel themselves.
Wow.
So I don't think they would do that unless they had plans.
Yeah, future plans to use it elsewhere, because the Russo brothers have gone on record saying that they don't plan on adding any TV characters to the movies at all anytime soon. We touched on it last week a little bit on that, but it makes sense that, I mean, they won't technically be doing so if they just scrub the series itself and just throw the character into the cinematic universe. It seems like a good workaround for that, a good way to introduce an exciting character as well.
Yep.
And technically, they're no longer TV characters if they're canceled.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Loophole.
My thoughts exactly. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. Exciting. Well, we'll see. So there was one thing I wanted to touch on real quick. Speaking of the cinematic universe and the potential characters that could be coming from it. So the Game Awards happened this past week, and one Marvel game, a huge Marvel game, was announced, which is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and releasing exclusively for Nintendo Switch, which is kind of a shocker because it's always been multi-platform up until now. But you do see Wolverine in the trailer, a number of other X-Men characters, pretty much characters that aren't only in the MCU, similar to what we saw in games like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which pretty much featured a lot of characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're expanding beyond that, which makes me wonder if they're willing to do that. Maybe we could start seeing these characters in a Disney light. We'll see.
Well, I think at this point, after the Fox acquisition has gone through,
yes,
so they're not shy about introducing more characters because they own a lot more of them now.
Yes. I'm glad that they're starting to utilize them. Hopefully, I mean, I'm glad that they're doing so in a video game sense, but I would like to see it within the MCU as well.
Because the problem with Marvel Infinite was at the time they didn't own the Fox acquisition was still kind of going through, so that was the whole kerfuffle there.
When that game was announced, that wasn't even in talks. Nobody knew that was happening.
Exactly,
that's true.
But fun fact, I know there is that mobile Marvel game that does have all of the characters, including Deadpool. I've seen Magneto in it, Doctor Doom. So I don't feel like they were completely censoring them out like everybody says. I just think that when it comes to Infinite, they wanted to promote their movie as much as they can because there is like a demographic of people who play the game, so they kind of figured, hey, if we introduce these characters, they're gonna go and see the movies.
Yeah.
I feel that. All right.
I was kind of disappointed that was the game that was announced, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun, though.
The Ultimate Alliance games are fine.
Yeah.
I played them, but they're not... They didn't change a genre. They're not groundbreaking. They're fun, but they're whatever.
There was rumored that a Marvel game was going to show up. I figured it was going to be something similar to like Wolverine Origins, I believe, was the beat 'em up game that was actually kind of fun.
It was great.
Yeah, but I never played it myself.
One of the few movie
but
tie-in games that it was actually good.
Right, and I figured it was going to be something more like that, but with the MCU characters involved. But to see Ultimate Alliance is fun. It might be a game that we can all play together, for that matter, because it's at least like 3 to 4 players, if not more.
You know what? I'm not surprised it's only on the Switch because of the type of game it is. I mean, now you got Xbox One and PS4, and they're talking about 5.
Yeah.
People don't play those type of games on these next gen consoles. They do. Don't get me wrong, they will.
Sure.
But I feel like it's just,
you just
a bigger...
angered half our audience.
Yeah, right.
But I just feel like on the Switch, it's just going to be more successful. I'm pretty sure if they sell games on other consoles, they have to pay some type of fees. So I'm sure they're avoiding all of that. And I think just because the Switch is so mobile and little kids love playing it, that it's just smart
playing it.
to just, you are a little kid.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, definitely think
I agree
it was
100%. It's definitely the type of game that is complemented by a console like the Switch, where you get to play on the go and you get to play with friends.
Yeah,
maybe
It's a beat 'em up. Beat 'em ups are fun.
what is it called? Like local wireless. You
Yeah,
can
exactly.
Play together with. Like I could definitely see that.
For sure. I'm excited. I just like the potential of that now that they are utilizing more characters beyond what we've seen only in the MCU so far. So, yeah, and like you said earlier, Peter, that we could start seeing more characters involved in movies as well. Like, did you say the Russo brothers wanted to do that? Or was that Disney and Marvel that announced that they wanted to start using more characters within the cinematic
I believe
universe?
it was Marvel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, at least they're doing it video game wise. Moving on, though, so... DC has announced, and Warner Brothers has announced, that if Aquaman does well or continues to do as well as it's projecting to do, there's a sequel that they want to do already. Nothing is confirmed yet. They haven't greenlit it, but they are seriously considering a sequel, which I don't think anyone is extremely surprised by, but it's nice to hear that the movie's doing well already critically and monetarily as well, obviously. Pre-orders are still going crazy. A lot of pre-screenings. People are enjoying the movie a lot. They said that there are some, I've heard critics say that there are some hiccups throughout the movie. Like maybe everything doesn't play out as well as it could have, but ultimately it's a great package. What are you guys' thoughts on a sequel being announced so early or potentially?
Well, just carrying off of what you said, I do have this on my part of the news, is that Aquaman actually did have a special screening in China for one day.
Yes.
And it made in the one day 24 million on Friday.
Jesus.
On one day.
Christ.
And it's Warner Brothers' highest film.
Where was this?
China.
Damn.
And China's
them some Jason Momoa
And
in China,
and I want to say, Batman vs Superman did 14 million. So that one was the number one for Warner Brothers. But Aquaman fucking beat it.
Destroyed it.
Yeah.
God.
So
Crazy.
I'm not surprised that it's gonna already get a sequel. Just from that one day alone, you know it's gonna be successful.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I have high hopes for the movie, as we've mentioned many times in this podcast. I think it's going to be great. It seems like a fun little time. Again, please go ahead.
At least it's not like the Monster universe where they announce sequels before they even release their first cinematic movie.
God. They kept trying.
They're still trying.
Have any of you guys seen that Mummy movie?
No.
Neither have I.
Oh, the Dark Universe?
Yeah.
I watched bits of it. I was on and off watching it. It was nothing spectacular. Yeah,
It's just like their third time they tried to start a cinematic universe. The first one was the Wolfman. You guys remember that one that came out like
Benicio
2
del
years
Toro?
ago? Yes.
Yes, I heard that was okay.
It was all right.
It looked scary, but I never watched it.
And it was a bit weird, but it was cool. I liked the tone and everything. And then it was Dracula Untold.
Oh my god.
Which I haven't seen, but I like
neither.
Luke Evans and I like how they were doing an origin story for Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
I just never got around to see it.
You're part of
a
the
lot
problem.
of people
Yeah,
did.
probably.
It's okay. Millions of people are part of the problem.
You're the
which I'm
reason
fine with.
I don't have this universe, Peter. God damn it.
The one that everyone's clamoring for.
Right.
So, Peter, you mentioned earlier that Microsoft is doing something with the military?
Yes.
How is
so
that
this is
working
actually
exactly?
a couple of weeks old.
Okay.
But I forgot to bring it up because I'm horrible.
Sorry, we can touch on it for a second.
At BG Children.
Yeah, PG
If you have an
Chava.
issue.
So Microsoft has a $480 million contract with the military to outfit soldiers with HoloLens. And apparently they were clamoring for this. Like, there was there were a few other companies that were trying to get these military contracts, but Microsoft wanted out.
Wow.
So, for those of you that don't know what HoloLens is, it's similar.
Oh, really?
It's similar to Google Glass, except it's a bit more augmented reality. Yes, sophisticated is a good word. It's augmented reality. You put the glasses on, and you can see it.
It'll augment the reality of what you see around you.
So why would the military want this?
I mean,
you could have like a radar, but you don't have to look down at something. It'll be right here, maybe on like the right-hand corner of your vision.
I was thinking Yu-Gi-Oh card battles in the middle of the street.
Shit. So funny you should mention
that. They'll find a way
there
to
actually
make that work.
is this happened a while ago. There actually was a modder who did. So I don't remember if it was with HoloLens or if it was with Google Glass, but they actually did have a prototype for.
I've seen it. It's on YouTube.
It looks fucking cool.
Have you seen it? Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Oh my god!
There's a lot of potential for technology like this, 100%. And I don't
think
it's really
the future. I would be a 40-year-old playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Big time. Big time.
Out on the streets, I don't give a fuck.
It's gonna happen eventually. It definitely will happen.
A lot of potential, both on the consumer level and on the professional level, military level, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think it's exciting to see because I mean, AR, augmented reality, is the future. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on every person, mostly. I would imagine eventually. Maybe,
more so than VR, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think VR is a great thing to have. It's going to be great with entertainment, and AR I think is going to relate to entertainment, but also everyday life eventually. Like, we're going to wake up to ads in our face and stuff like that. And like, I've seen like concept videos of what the future looks like with AR, and maybe that seems a little tin hat. And a little bit, maybe so.
I'm going to call you Dale.
A little conspiracy theory-ish, but I do see it being a part of everyday life eventually. Maybe 20 years from now, maybe even less than that, 15, 10. It's going to definitely take over.
I would certainly say less time. As common as it is to have a mobile phone, it's augmented reality is going to be that common at some point.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Crazy to think.
But it's real. So earlier, before we started recording, Peter brought up that Marvel's Shang Chi. Pardon my mispronunciation if that was a thing. What about Shang Chi, sir?
So they're actually moving forward with the Shang Chi movie.
Okay.
And
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi. I don't know.
Shang?
Maybe.
I don't know. It's Shang-Chi.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible at reading.
It's all right.
And they're looking for an Asian director. So honestly, I don't know much about this character. This is the first time I've heard about it.
Okay.
But he looks to be like a martial artist of sorts. That's pretty cool. So there's a Marvel project with an Asian lead, and they're looking for an Asian director as well.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's cool.
I like that they're going for equal opportunity. A lot of, I've noticed that recently with some podcasts that I listen to that deal with acting and movies and such like that. There is a lot of talks about directors and showrunners as well, for that matter, trying to make sure that there is an equal representative of opportunity as far as whether it's someone acting in front of the camera or people behind the camera as well. So to see that this is a thing and that Marvel seems to care a bit, I think it's a cool little opportunity for people. Why not?
Is it confirmed that it's going to be a part of the MCU?
You know what? I don't know. I can only assume. Why wouldn't they? I mean, everything's tied in. All the Marvel properties that they make anyway are tied into the MCU. DC are the ones, or Warner Brothers, I should say, are the ones that are kind of doing Elseworld stuff. So, I don't know. I guess.
You don't think Marvel would ever jump on something like that, though? Stuff that's not connected to the timeline?
I only had this thought just now, but after Avengers Endgame, which we'll talk more about later, I suppose they could. They've kind of already. They may or may not introduce multiple realities, maybe even multiple timelines. So after that, maybe they can start doing Elseworld stuff and be like, this is in universe Earth, whatever, in Earth this number or whatever the case may be. So gotcha. I think they'll get there eventually, and I think Avengers Endgame could be a pretty good jumping off point to start spreading out those type of storylines.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool.
I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean, I could see. I mean, just to go back to the whole Chinese director thing, if they go with a director that happens to be Chinese, like Shang-Chi, it makes sense in that maybe they want someone that would be able to more accurately portray the culture, perhaps, or at least just have someone that would maybe understand it. And with everyone wanting to be so politically correct these days, we have to try to watch out for it as well, obviously, since we have a show to run. But I can see that maybe if they're going to be touching on Chinese culture, they want to have a director that perhaps knows it a little more so. But honestly, my opinion is, without getting too political, I just want the best person for the job.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
That's
what
all that
really
matters
matters
in the
to
long
me.
run.
Yeah.
Who cares who's doing it? Like, just make a good movie.
Exactly. And if there happens to be a Chinese director that is qualified for the job more than enough, then why not? Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm more than supportive of that.
I mean,
of that outlet.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
There you go. Well, let's see here. Also, Peter. So you for notes you put that Anne Hathaway is somehow going to be affiliated with Sesame Street.
Yes. So
to me.
Warner Brothers
Come
is
on.
making a Sesame Street movie.
Nice.
And Anne Hathaway is gonna be the lead. So what I got out of this is that they're making a Sesame Street movie. So that's weird.
yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
I
mean, they've done it before,
yeah, that's true.
But
or like Muppet movies
have
and
they?
stuff like that.
but it's more for
They have.
kids.
Yeah.
They've made like
They had,
straight to
a big-
DVD movie type
I'm
stuff.
pretty
But
sure
it-
there was a Big Bird movie that was in theaters like years ago.
And there was Elmo
decade
and
ago.
Grouchland.
Oh, that's true. That was
Yeah.
a trippy movie.
I don't.
From what
know.
I remember.
I don't know what the heck.
I
you guys
had
are
a little
talking
brother then. I had to sit through that crap. So don't take me back.
Oh god, were you at least on hallucinogenics while you were
No,
watching
I was
it?
not.
I'm sorry.
I should have been. I felt like I was.
I don't think you need to be with some of these puppet
Yeah,
show
they're crazy.
type shows.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Jim Henson was on something extraordinary back then, I imagine. He and Dr. Seuss were having a good time.
You see Snuffleupagus? What is that?
Exactly. That is a high woolly mammoth. So high he lost his ears. Dear Lord. But yeah, that is interesting. I could see a Sesame Street movie being really charming and all. It is cool that they have Anne Hathaway attached to it, potentially. We'll see if that's the case. I could see her. It would be nice to see her in a kind of a sweetheart role again. I feel like I haven't seen her in anything kind of like lighthearted since like Princess Diaries, her breakout
Yeah,
role.
she's done pretty much nudity since then.
Which is
Dark
fine.
She's a really good actress, honestly.
Oh, she's great.
One of my
Oh no,
favorites.
she's great. Yeah.
Like, I'll
Love and Other Drugs. She's really good in that movie.
Yeah, that movie's pretty good.
Yeah, she had a very small part in Brokeback Mountain as well. She played like a love interest for a split second. If I'm not mistaken, she might have played one of the wives. I forget exactly how that her role worked, but yeah, everything I've seen her in is, I mean, pretty spectacular. I would have to say. I mean, Batman as well. You know, within the Nolan universe, she was in the better of the three movies, in my opinion.
Oh, you're
I'm just gonna
wrong.
Put it that way.
Your opinion's wrong,
Fair enough.
and that is a fact. That's
Oh
not an
my
opinion.
God.
It's a fact that your opinion is wrong.
Fair enough. All right, well, we got only a little more time left. Unfortunately, this has to be a shorter episode. Makes me kind of sad, but if you ever have any questions or topics you'd like to send us, and we'll shout you out for future episodes as well. We want to make a segment where we touch on listener questions and topics. So you can email us at stgeekpod@gmail.com. Also on Twitter and Instagram, stgeekpod as well. Also, we are now officially on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. So just to make it easier for you guys to find us, we're also on YouTube, of course, as well. You can find us on podcast.com. Just wanted to plug that really quick, shamelessly, of course. But yeah, let's move on. So we do have a couple more things to talk about before we need to go in about 15 minutes. Smash Bros. Ultimate is now out, and its first DLC character was announced at the Game Awards. Do you guys remember who that is?
Joker.
Joker from the Persona 5 series, or Persona 5 game, that is. A JRPG that sold really, really well and was highly reviewed as well. I haven't played it. I haven't delved much time into it at all. But it is interesting to see that they did such an obscure character. One that isn't totally well known.
Having never played those games, I had no fucking idea who the hell this was.
No.
Sure.
I haven't played a single Persona game. I've heard they're great, but I never got around. That should be my catchphrase. I've heard it's good. Because I say that with a lot of things. There's a lot of things I haven't played or watched, but I've heard that
From
it's
others.
good. But anyway, cool, I guess. More characters. I mean, a lot of people are saying that the obscurity of this character being in Smash Ultimate opens the door for pretty much anything.
Yes, which is the exciting part for sure.
Goku.
I kind of already
Right?
had that in my mind that anything was possible at this point. You have fucking Ryu, you have Cloud, you have Xenoblade Chronicle. Like,
Yep.
I'm already
Everybody
just like, they can do
wants
anything.
it. You know, I think the guy from Microsoft wanted to put Banjo-Kazooie on that.
Phil Spencer? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now it's a
That
possibility.
was a rumor.
very
I
strongly.
still want it.
That was a rumor
I would
for
main
a long
that character.
time. Rayman was there was a fake leak way back when that Rayman was going to be a character in there.
Right. I think that's going to be awesome. I mean, now that I mean, this is the strongest chance we have also of characters like Sora from the Kingdom Hearts series
I was gonna bring
to be
that
part
up.
of it. It's been on Nintendo consoles or handhelds before, Kingdom Hearts, so this is the strongest chance we have of this ever happening.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping
it's just
so.
a matter of time.
Yeah.
The thing is, they want to make sure, or Reggie Fils-Aimé at the Game Awards announced that all 5 DLC characters will be something that has never been a part of the Smash Brothers series before. So it's cool to see that this is actually going to be a thing. We'll see what happens though.
Yes.
Oh my god, I would love it. If
Or
Banjo
I would even
Kazooie-
take Bass from the
From
Mega Man.
That would be
be
Bit
cool.
fused with Trouble. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Based in Trouble.
I
Yeah.
can see Banjo Kazooie being something of an Echo Fighter, the Duck Hunt dog. Now that I think about it,
That's an interesting thought. I could see that happening, especially it is like another like an animal with a duck again, or a bird-like character, you could say. That would be interesting. We'll see. I kind of want there to be no Echo Fighters though for the DLC. I think they're going to go all out.
I would hope so.
But I could see that
I think
being
it
a
would
possibility.
be pretty cheap if they released, because people pay for season passes and whatnot, myself included, and I feel like the fan base would feel a bit cheated if one of those characters happened to be an Echo Fighter.
Most definitely, I can see that for sure. All right, so moving on though for our last topic. Again, I hate to rush this episode, but we do need to get going. At least
11:30.
myself personally, but just in case, I
Trailers to talk about.
I have some words I want to be able to talk about.
Say your words.
All right. Well, we do have a name officially for Avengers 4. As we mentioned earlier, we now have Avengers Endgame. As we mentioned a few episodes ago, the Russo brothers did tease that the subtitle for Avengers 4 will be a phrase that has been spoken within the MCU already, and now we know it was from the most recent film, Infinity War.
People immediately were like, "It's Endgame," and they were like, "Oh fuck, no, it's not Endgame."
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
A great title, though. I think it's pretty fun to see that they're going with this. We are in the Endgame now, guys.
Yes.
Great. I think it's an
certainly
appropriate
seems like
title.
it.
I feel like that's the one line that really stuck out from Doctor Strange.
For sure. For
In
sure.
the end game.
I love Doctor Strange in Infinity
He's
War,
great.
personally.
Yeah.
I think he was a great aspect of that movie.
Well, they showed how good they can actually make the character in terms of his magic.
Yes.
God, that was so cool.
It was fucking badass.
His abilities were really awesome.
Yeah.
In that fight against Thanos, I was like, holy crap. Jesus Christ. Or just throwing around Thor for... Oh, no, am I thinking of Ragnar? No, what movie am I thinking about? Infinity War. When he actually has Thor and he's like throwing him around and stuff like that, sending him through time and space and all that, through his mansion.
Oh, yeah, that is...
The Sanctum
Loki.
Sanctorum?
Oh,
Loki.
yeah.
Oh, that's true. But also,
That
like,
is right,
Thor's
you're
kind of
right.
disheveled
Yeah.
every time they scene shift and stuff like that. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty
kind of
good.
like always shook up a little bit from it. I don't know, but also the fight scene on Titan as well is a spectacle to be had, for sure, to be enjoyed. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on the trailer for Endgame?
Fucking great.
I think it looks good. I'm sure I've mentioned this in the past because I hate it every time that a studio does it, but I hate when a trailer gives away too much. I
Sure.
fucking hate
Of course.
Yeah.
Especially something as big as this.
it. Yes. And I feel like Marvel's pretty good about not giving away too much. I mean, we've talked about it in the past about how at this point they're very smart about their marketing. They'll even they'll give fake outs in the trailers as they did with Infinity War. So for all we know, some of these scenes might not even be in the movie.
That's true.
Excuse
No,
me.
that is very
But,
true.
Overall, I thought it was great. It gave you a taste. Everybody is gonna see this movie.
Yeah.
Everybody who anybody who saw Infinity War is already gonna see this movie. You
Yeah.
don't really need to give them a big, grandiose, over the top trailer. Like, people are going to see it.
I think it's crazy because there was the leaked one for the Infinity War where it actually shows Thanos coming in and just fucking wrecking shit
Yes.
right away. And this one was more of like just the aftermath. You're just kind of seeing how everybody's just like, fuck.
How everyone's... And it's based 4 days after Infinity War, is that correct?
I
hadn't heard that, but I did want to bring up the rumor that was around a while back that this was actually the movie was going to take place 5 years after the snap.
I remember hearing that originally as well, but now I don't know if this is confirmed from Russo Brothers, but I have been told it's supposed to be 4 days after
Well,
snap,
I think
but I
that's
don't know.
because Iron Man says it's been 4 days without water or food, so maybe that's
There
why
you
people
go,
are
then.
assuming. But I mean, I'm sure the suit was still good for a bit.
Maybe so. I don't know if it's 5 years good, but yeah, who knows?
Well, here's my theory is I think because it looks to with Tony Stark being in that situation, it looks like it takes place immediately after Infinity War.
Yeah.
But what if it starts off like that and then there's a time jump like immediately after?
Sure, I could see that happening as well. That makes sense.
And then the other thing is that I don't remember where this is from. I think it's in one of the novelizations or something like that. But in the MCU, the snap is actually referred to as the decimation.
Gotcha.
I heard that. Yeah.
So that's
Cool.
pretty
That's
cool.
actually, it's a great word for it.
Because the general population don't even know that Thanos was a thing fighting in the
Right.
forest of Wakanda and all that shit. So for all they know, God, the rapture just happened,
Right,
and then just
exactly.
took half the population. They have no fucking idea.
That's even worse to not even
That's
have that closure
terrible.
or understanding
Right?
of what happened. That's awful. Oh my god.
I've never thought about it that
They
way.
have
That's so
no
true. Wow.
I'm sure some people did.
I mean,
I-
they had
well,
to have
who
seen.
knows?
Yeah.
At least in the beginning of Infinity War, when Thanos first shows up in New York, is it?
Yeah. No, it's not
Thanos
Thanos.
doesn't
It's,
show up.
it's
His
his.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yes, his
It was-
henchmen,
But still, they
children.
know something's going down.
Yeah,
so maybe
a
they
huge
associate
ship
the two.
appeared.
And then Shield is still around. I'm assuming some of Shield.
Well,
People know.
Sword,
Yes.
not really. Okay, so being the only person in this group who has watched Agents of Shield from start to finish.
Wow.
Wow,
Shield.
congratulations.
it's actually
I've heard it
really
gets
good.
way
It
better,
gets
yeah.
really good after the first half of the season, and then it gets even better by season 4. But anyway, Shield technically isn't a thing. It's sort of an underground thing, I think, at the point of Infinity War. As a matter of fact, the last season of Agents of Shield actually takes place during Infinity War. Like the last few episodes take place during the build up to Infinity War. However, they don't acknowledge the snap. Like they end the season before the snap even happens. But anyway, where was I going with this? What were we talking about? Oh, Shield. Does Shield exist?
Shield.
Shield sort of exists, but it's not public. It's sort of an underground thing now.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they kind of always were like a secret agency anyway, weren't they?
Yeah.
In a way.
Well,
but I guess
MCU made
even
it
more
seem
so
like
now.
they were bigger.
I see.
In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they've gone back and forth between kind of like being public. Because after in Winter Soldier, after the Hydra takeover happened, they kind of went underground. And then in the show, they went
Hydra.
back and forth between being like in public and being not. And I think at this point, they're supposedly disbanded, but secretly they function.
Gotcha. What were you guys' thoughts? So there is a scene where Bruce Banner is he's looking all sad, and he's obviously not Hulk yet, or maybe if he ever is Hulk again, for that matter. But he is looking at screens. There is one shot of Scott Lang as a hologram, and also the sister of Black Panther, whose name is
Shuri, I believe.
Shuri. Okay, there you go. So our guesses when we were watching it earlier before recording is that he's looking at pictures of people that have gone missing, not confirmed dead or alive at this point. That's what my thought is.
Well, I would imagine after the snap or decimation, you would kind of expect whatever heroes or people with super abilities to kind of come forward
together?
Yeah, band together.
Yes.
And seeing as how Ant-Man doesn't do that immediately, it seems like they probably just presumed that he got taken with the snap.
Makes sense, yeah.
So he's probably just like, oh, fuck, we lost one. And then the Shuri thing is interesting because I believe she was confirmed to be alive after the decimation.
Gotcha.
But for whatever reason, she's now gone missing. Or this could be another fake out. We don't even fucking know.
Yeah. Who knows? Again, yeah. None of this footage is confirmed to actually be in the movie,
Yeah.
which, as you mentioned, Peter, has happened with the Russo brothers movies in the past. So it wouldn't be a huge shock if it happened again, but it will be a pleasant surprise. I mean, we had Infinity War, the first trailer, where it showed Captain America leading a charge in Wakanda, and we never got that in the actual movie itself.
With the Hulk behind him and
Yeah.
Falcon and everybody.
It was a cool looking shot, but yeah, they never used it. It was a really good throw off for sure. So we'll see if this ends up being a thing, how much of the trailer is accurate. I'm sure we're going to actually get that whole, like, oxygen is running low, food and water's running out with Tony Stark, because we have to worry about someone. And it's kind of cool to see how they're going to rebuild off this. I like to think that my original thought was that the heroes were going to go more underground to try to team up again, because, again, Thanos is still obviously very present in the universe, if not on Earth itself. So it makes me wonder, like, wouldn't they want to be more secretive about their plot to kind of take back things, take back Earth or the universe for that matter? So it makes me wonder. But it seemed like they were kind of outspoken, like they were in maybe not Avengers Tower, but they were somewhere where they can actually access information.
Yeah.
And meat.
Time
For tea.
This trailer definitely seems like time travel, that is, may play a part in this, because Captain America is in his Winter Soldier getup and not his Civil War / Infinity War.
No
suit
longer
that he
bearded
has.
either.
And he's also no longer bearded.
Shame. It's a shame. It's gone, yeah.
R.I.P. Rest in peace.
He was done
Cap.
copying
Beard
Thor's
Cap.
beard, I guess.
Yeah.
He looked way better.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
I see you cupping my beer. I love that line.
However, I lost my train of thought again.
You were talking about
however,
the time.
Black Widow
Yeah.
has her blonde hair still.
Uh-huh.
As she's talking to Cap, so it's... I mean, I suppose he could always just put that suit back on, throw out the old one, and then shave his beard and do his hair
why
up.
not? It's,
when you're...
He just got out of battle.
He's depressed.
Exactly.
Maybe his costume guy disappeared.
it's time for a change.
Yeah,
all he's got.
he's sad, he's depressed, he's like, I need to change my look.
He needed to take control of his life.
It
again,
reminds me of Bucky.
Save the beard.
It reminds me of Bucky.
Right in the feels. Damn. Yeah, actually, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, he needs to be able to take control in any way that he can after Thanos took everything from him. But I do like the line in that when he and Black Widow are talking, and he's telling him that this is gonna work. And he's saying, like, if that's good, but if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to think that. I feel like this is the movie where we're going to see Cap pushed to the edge. Will we see him go out in a blaze of glory? Because maybe he'll be pushed to the brink and he'll be the only one that'll be able to handle the situation when it comes down to it for the climax of this movie. This is all speculation, but it kind of seems like that's a big tease as to what maybe Cap's final scene will be in this movie. We'll see.
Seeing as how Cap didn't get a lot of screen time in Infinity War.
Yeah,
this trailer is very Cap heavy, and I think that's probably gonna lead to him being a major player in the upcoming film.
It's gonna make us fall in love with him and care about him a whole lot throughout the movie. And then, again, who's to say where he ends up by the end of it?
What happens if he dies? That'd be so good, and he doesn't come back.
It'll be really heartbreaking, but it'll be a good send-off. Fighting for everyone, and he's the only one that can handle it, maybe, because he is, like, one of the stronger characters. But I don't know. I mean, next to Captain Marvel, of course, who's, like, leaps and bounds way stronger. Isn't that the case? She's like pretty much a god, you could say.
She's one of the strongest characters in the comic book universe, so I can only assume that's going to translate also into the cinematic universe.
I wouldn't doubt it if she saves Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, that seems to be the leading theory.
She probably gets
cosmic,
like the beeper fucking message, and just
on her way back to Earth, she just
sees a ship kind of just
adrift.
Yeah, maybe there's a distress signal he's sending out. I don't know.
Something. I imagine they do, and it's he and Nebula together, right? Tony Stark and Nebula.
I mean, we don't.
It's not confirmed, but I mean, you would just kind of assume.
Gotcha,
they were the last ones on Titan at the end of Infinity War, and then also there's a shot in this trailer where Nebula appears to be walking around the Milano.
Yeah.
So we can only assume that they're together. However, we don't see them. We don't see them share the screen. So
who knows?
Who knows? That's
very true. She went off on her own journey to figure things out. But I do look forward to this movie. The one thing is, I guess, due to shooting schedules of Infinity War, they couldn't get all the actors together at one time. Obviously, that's a lot of different schedules to work with. Actors have other movies and projects that they need to work on, and so I hope that for this movie at least we can see a little more character combinations going on. I mean, I think this is not to discount what the Russo brothers did with Infinity War, or Civil War for that matter, in that they were able to get a lot of amazing characters on screen at the same time. I hope they can just take that to the umpteenth degree now. To the nth degree, I should say. I just really look forward to seeing what they can do to up the ante for this film, because they have a lot riding on their shoulders. They just made one of the most epic movies of all time, and now they have to do it all over again and make it even better.
I think they did it.
I think they're going to. Yeah. If this teaser trailer is any indication, and I feel like we got a lot more from this than I expected. I thought we were going to get maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds of footage. This is like a 2-minute long trailer. Mm-hmm. And but like you mentioned earlier, Peter, before we started recording, they didn't give away too much though. Like, we are just left to speculate, and we see the standpoint of some characters, and that everyone's kind of losing hope, and they have one plan apparently. At least Black Widow and Cap do. Who's to say what that actually is going to be? But it is kind of cool just to see that, all these characters are separated. How are they going to come back together? And then we have Scott Lang, Ant-Man,
that's like
appear at the end.
That's like the mystery part of the whole entire trailer. Because everything else you kind of assumes happening. I mean, everybody's sad. They don't know what's going to happen. And this guy just shows up. Paul Rudd, the Bay, shows up, and he's just...
And he's funny, as always.
Of course, he's got that damn Paul Rudd charm.
I wonder if he's going to have a bigger role than Captain Marvel. Because I'm assuming a lot of people are thinking Captain Marvel. But what about if Ant-Man just comes out of nowhere? I mean, he's probably the next smartest... Oh, he's not even that smart. It's Pym that's the smart one.
Hank Pym?
Yeah.
I think Scott Lang's pretty smart. No, he is. He's definitely... He even says... It's like a joke in the first Ant-Man movie where he's just like, I have a degree... I have a master's in bioengineering. Like, I'll get out there, and then he works at Baskin Robbins.
That's right. I totally forgot.
So he's probably
that.
really smart. Yeah. And now that Iron Man's gone, and the chick from Black Panther's gone. Maybe he's just the next smartest guy in line.
Yeah,
that makes
Bruce
sense.
Banner's up there too.
Of course, he's
Still,
one of the smartest.
you know,
I think he's out of his mind. He's seen some shit.
yeah, now he is.
I like how sidebar. I do like
Sure.
how he kind of borderline has a mental breakdown in Thor Ragnarok.
Right?
Yeah,
He's like, I'm on an alien pet. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
so
good.
good. Yeah.
We'll have to review that movie for the show sometime. Maybe before the 4th Thor movie. We'll see if that's ever a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just seemed really awesome. I wonder though, because again, before we started recording, we do converse quite a bit before we actually start the show. And Peter, you mentioned, or you made the point of observing that Scott Lang shows up to wherever they're at, wherever he finds Cap and Black Widow, and he has the same van that they had the Quantum Realm, or how they were able to access the Quantum Realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it makes me wonder, does he have that equipment still on him in the van? And if so, is he going to show them how to use it to then be able to use that to either maybe bring back heroes due to the Quantum Realm, or maybe use it in a way to utilize to beat Thanos with it? I don't know.
I guess we'll have to wait.
I said a
and
lot
see.
of weird words there.
But
yeah.
Speaking of Ant-Man, the other character that is shown in this trailer that was not present in Infinity War was Hawkeye.
Yes.
Now running the mantle of Ronan.
Ronan, yes.
Not Ronan the Accuser.
But
Not that
Ronan.
Ronan.
Yeah.
Just Ronan.
It is
spelled,
weird that
spelled
that's
with an
same
I,
one.
not an A.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Ronin, not Ronan.
There you go. Fair enough.
Thank you, Peter.
But that is awesome to see. Like, he's definitely a more brutal character now. It kind of makes you wonder, is he like this in a lot more of a dark form because he probably lost his family due to the decimation?
I mean, that's been the leading theory. I find it funny how he cleans off the blade, but it's already clean. he does the wipes it on his arm, but it's like there's no blood
he
on
has to
that
make
sword.
a cool entrance, man.
There's no blood on that
exactly.
sword. What are you doing?
He knew someone was behind him, so he was like, I got to school real quick. Yeah.
Do you think his whole family got decimated?
I think so.
And
I
that's
think so.
probably why
That's
he's
why
doing
he's...
this shit.
Yeah.
In the comic books, that's what pushes him to the Ronin persona, so I think it would be a good homage to that, as well as just be good motivation for the character
I'm
to
pretty
get back
hype
out
about
there.
it.
Because he was pretty content with being retired
Yeah.
by the end of Civil War, so it's good motivation to bring him back into the fray.
And they make him look cool.
He looks awesome.
Yeah, he looks pretty badass.
Yeah. I love the blade he's using and everything. I can't wait to see what his role is going to be in all this, how they're going to be able to utilize Ronan. I look forward to every bit of this movie. And now it actually got pushed up in release date. Instead of May, it's now going to be in April. So that's really awesome as well.
So, yeah,
It was
damn. So
originally
it's a
in May
month.
last
It comes
year.
out a month after Captain Marvel.
But
They just want that
4 months
money.
from now. 4 months from now.
Well, you
Jesus
figure
Christ.
Disney itself has so many movies coming out next year that it's probably going to be one movie a month for them.
Fox acquisition probably
Well, not
more so
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they're gonna wreck shop. They're gonna
But
destroy.
At the same time, I feel like maybe since they do have the Fox acquisition that went through, maybe they'll give some other characters that we've seen over and over again some time to breathe, and we'll be able to fall in love with more new superheroes as well. And then that way it'll make, when we do see original older MCU characters, it'll kind of make them shine and stand out a little more because we'll miss them a bit.
Right.
So I do hope that might be a thing. Who's to say?
Well, I think Iron Man's done. They haven't made an actual Iron Man movie in a very long time.
Which I think is fine because they make sure to feature him as a huge role in every other movie anyway.
I feel like the Hulk though eventually retire for a bit too. I feel like he will be the next one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's kind of getting up there in age, but I mean that doesn't say that the Hulk itself as an entity isn't always going to be powerful. But yeah,
they'll come back. It's just they gotta let him, like you said, breathe, and then bring back a new, fresh character or actor.
yeah, I feel that for sure. Yeah, I
think that's what I'm most excited about is the future. Now that this timeline, this phase is done,
It's about to be in a big way. Yeah,
what's next?
Exactly. I think
gonna-
that's the big question.
Fantastic Four, good movie, please. Jesus.
eventually.
Bring Doctor Doom into the fray. One of my favorite Marvel
Yes.
villains, or villains of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That would
So
be
good.
awesome.
Doctor Doom and Magneto.
Yep.
They really got to do him right though,
best.
because that first movie of Fantastic Four, he was.
Every movie of Fantastic Four
Every movie.
is not good.
I like the actor that
there was
played him, the
nothing
guy from Nip
fantastic.
Tuck, but yeah.
I didn't. I thought it was. No,
Oh, really?
I hated
No.
it.
I
He
thought he
wasn't
was
a good Doom.
No.
Whoa.
Not that it was his fault.
I was gonna
No,
say
exactly. Yeah, he worked
the
with what he
writing's
was given.
bad, but he also didn't help, in my opinion.
I feel you. Well, let us know your opinions on Avengers Endgame. Again, you can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram at
Real quick
STGeekPod.
before we end the podcast, because I know we gotta go.
By all means. Yes, we do.
I can't believe we have to. We haven't talked about, or I haven't brought it up, but the novelization of Infinity War came out a while back,
Infinity
a
Gauntlet and all
couple
that.
months ago, and they mentioned something.
Oh.
They excuse me.
He's dying, everybody.
He's dying. He's
One
telling me
less-
to keep on talking.
one less
Well, while
co-host.
he's dying over in the
Yes,
sun, I know in these novelizations they also brought the scientists from the Thor movies. I don't know the three names, like the actual doctor.
Selvig, something.
Yeah, Natalie Portman's character,
Yes.
and they're doing like the science, the Avengers of Science. This
Oh,
is like
wow.
currently happening
Really?
because they're trying to figure out what exactly the decimation was.
I see.
Oh, I didn't know.
There's something
that
I
part.
briefly read, so I can't go more into it. But
Who
yeah.
knows? Maybe they'll
crazy,
play a
right?
role
Yeah.
in Endgame. I doubt it, but maybe they will.
So that confirms that they're alive too.
yes, true that.
So what I was gonna say
Oh, yes.
was I don't remember what character says it to him, but somebody talks to Thanos and tells him, mentions the creators of the Infinity Stones to some degree, and people are speculating that might mean. Are you guys familiar with the Living Tribunal?
Yes.
Not personally.
So the Living
Universe
Tribunal
is-
is a living personification of the multiverse.
Oh wow.
So and in the comic books, he plays a pretty big role in the Infinity War storyline, because he's all about balance between the multiverse. And so the rumor is that he might actually show up in this movie, seeing as how Thanos has kind of disrupted that balance.
Yes.
And there's also a bit of a hint for that character in Doctor Strange. There's a name drop where, what's his name, Mordo, or I think his name's Mordo.
It sounds familiar.
it's Mordo.
He's training Doctor Strange, and he brings up an item. He calls it the Staff of the Living Tribunal.
Yes. Ah.
So he exists in this universe to some degree. Like
Yes.
they're aware of that name at the very least. Maybe not even the character.
It was a clear reference. So
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That might be a thing. We'll see.
Yeah, that could be what finishes everything
But there
off.
was also the rumors with Adam Warlock and how his egg was in the.
The
Guardians
Russo
of the
brothers
Galaxy.
said from
Fair
the very
enough.
get-go that
Yeah.
he was Adam Warlock is not going to be in Avengers Infinity War. They're saving him for Guardians 3. Maybe
Oh,
that'll
wow.
change now since James Gunn and the whole debacle there, but
right.
they said then again they just lied to us about the fucking
Yeah,
Endgame
because
thing.
isn't he-
That's
title.
true. Exactly.
He's a big reason
Can't
why
believe anything anymore.
Yeah,
this one ends, right? Doesn't he?
in the comic books, yes.
Yeah.
I think he
He's the one who bands the group together. Now I think about it.
I think so.
I think he goes to Earth and he actually collects.
I think the
whoever's
Soul
left.
Stone lives within him, or he lives within the Soul, something
Well, it's
like
definitely
that.
not part of the MCU then, if that's the case.
No.
But I mean, but still, who's to say that this character can't come into play though somehow, some way? We are getting into the cosmic part of the MCU nowadays, so why not? As far as I'm concerned, that would be pretty amazing to see. I really want the cosmic universe to play a larger role within Endgame, but I feel like they're going to start leaning towards that after Endgame is a thing. Once Phase 4 comes into play, then we'll see how everything goes. But I'm excited. Endgame, have the highest hopes of any movie that's coming out for 2019 so far, or the MCU in general. I hope that Captain Marvel proves herself as a character when the movie comes out. When's that movie coming out? In March, is it?
Yes, March.
Literally a month before Endgame.
We
so,
didn't get a chance to talk about that trailer. That trailer's out. We'll hit
Yes.
it up next week.
Yeah, we will. Pick
We're
that
low on
back up.
time.
Yes. Super excited. The fun trailer, though. I will say it's cool to see her using her powers and in her suit. I wasn't a big fan of the mohawk at first, but after seeing her in action, I'm excited.
I have a lot to
Super
say
excited.
about
This is
where
all
the
I'm gonna
story
say.
might go.
Sure.
This is proof that they can make a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, there you go.
Just saying. Just saying.
Oh no! And on that note,
Looking at you, Dragon Ball Evolution.
There you go.
Were those Super Saiyans? I don't care. Why are we talking about it? It doesn't matter.
There wasn't.
That's all right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the STGeek Podcast. Be sure to listen back next week. We will be reviewing Spider-Verse. I should have teased that at the beginning, but again, Spider-Verse will be on review. Peter has already seen it.
Yep.
John, have you?
No, I have not.
Neither have I, but I have my tickets. I'm excited to go see it for sure. Be on the lookout. Again, we will be reviewing that next week. We'll see you again. Again, available on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play, as well as YouTube as well. Just search STGeekPod. Pretty easy to find. Have a great one. We'll see ya later.
Space traveling geeks. Check.
Check.
Check your booty.